For centuries, the oceans have hidden secrets beyond imagination. From the dark depths where sunlight never reaches, to the vast horizons that test the courage of sailors and aviators alike, the sea has always been both a giver and a taker of life. Yet among all the waters that span our planet, few inspire the same sense of wonder, fear, and unending speculation as one mysterious region in the Western Atlantic Ocean, a place where ships vanish without a trace, where compasses spin wildly, and where logic itself seems to lose its way. This is the story of the Bermuda Triangle, history's most puzzling legend. Stretching roughly between the points of Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, the Bermuda Triangle covers an area of about 500,000 square miles. To the untrained eye, it looks like any other part of the ocean, blue, vast, and endless. But to generations of sailors, pilots, and travelers, it has been a symbol of terror, an invisible zone that swallows everything that dares to enter. It's a place where hundreds of vessels and aircraft are said to have disappeared, leaving no wreckage, no survivors, and often, not even a distress signal. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle isn't new. In fact, its roots reach back long before modern times, before radar, satellites, and the instruments we rely on to navigate the world today. The first whispers of strange occurrences in this region date back to the voyages of none other than Christopher Columbus himself. In 1492, as Columbus crossed the Atlantic on his first voyage to the New World, his logbook recorded strange and unsettling events. His compass began to malfunction, pointing in directions that made no sense. His crew witnessed eerie lights dancing on the horizon, what he described as a great flame of fire plunging into the sea. These were the first written records of something peculiar happening in the area we now call the Bermuda Triangle. Whether it was a meteor, a volcanic eruption, or something beyond explanation, it left an impression that would echo through history. But for centuries afterward, the triangle remained just another part of the ocean. Ships occasionally went missing, yes, but so did ships everywhere. The ocean was vast, unpredictable, and dangerous. It wasn't until the 20th century that the Bermuda Triangle began to take on its infamous identity as a place of supernatural mystery. The year was 1945. The Second World War had ended, and the world was entering a new age of technology and exploration. On December 5th, a squadron of 5 US Navy Avenger torpedo bombers took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on what was supposed to be a routine training mission. They were known as Flight 19. Experienced pilots, clear weather, and a standard flight plan. Nothing should have gone wrong. But something did. As the hours passed, radio communications from the flight grew increasingly erratic. The lead pilot, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, reported that his compass was malfunctioning. He couldn't determine where they were. The other pilots, trusting his leadership, followed him deeper into confusion. The sea below them shimmered under the fading light of day, as radio operators on the ground desperately tried to guide them home. Then, one by one, their transmissions fell silent. A massive rescue operation was launched immediately. Dozens of planes and ships combed the waters through the night. Yet, not a single piece of wreckage, oil slick, or body was ever found. To make the mystery deeper still, one of the rescue planes, a giant PBM Mariner with 13 men on board, also vanished from radar shortly after takeoff. Witnesses reported seeing a flash of light in the sky, and then, nothing. 27 men, gone without a trace. The US Navy's official report could offer no explanation. They simply listed the cause of the disappearance as unknown. And with that single word, a legend was born. In the years that followed, the Bermuda Triangle became the setting for hundreds of similar stories. Ships like the USS Cyclops, a massive Navy cargo vessel carrying 309 men, which vanished in 1918 between Barbados and Baltimore, aircraft that disappeared mid-flight, private yachts that radioed distress signals and were never seen again. The list seemed endless. The USS Cyclops remains one of the most haunting disappearances in American naval history. It was a steel colossus, over 500 feet long, and it simply vanished without sending an SOS. No enemy submarines were in the area, no severe weather was reported, and no debris was ever found. The ship and its crew were simply erased from existence. President Woodrow Wilson himself remarked, "Only God and the sea know what happened to the great ship." Stories like these fueled the public imagination. In the 1950s and 60s, the mystery captured the world's attention through books, magazines, and later television documentaries. Writers like Vincent Gaddis popularized the term the Bermuda Triangle in his 1964 article for Argosy magazine, describing it as a deadly vortex where time and space might be distorted. Soon, others joined in, most notably Charles Berlitz, whose 1974 book The Bermuda Triangle became an international bestseller. Belitzer's work blended fact, speculation, and the supernatural, suggesting that ancient civilizations, extraterrestrials, and even underwater energy forces could be responsible. But behind the sensational headlines and mysterious tales lies another side of the story, one that's grounded not in fantasy, but in science, geography, and the raw power of nature. The waters of the Bermuda Triangle are among the busiest and most unpredictable in the world. It lies at the crossroads of powerful ocean currents, including the Gulf Stream, a fast-moving river of warm water that flows north from the Caribbean. This current can change weather conditions within minutes. Calm seas can become violent in the blink of an eye. Sudden storms, waterspouts, and rogue waves reaching heights of over 100 feet have been recorded in the region. For ships and aircraft navigating these waters, the dangers are immense. Before modern GPS, even a small compass error could send a vessel hundreds of miles off course. And when you add unpredictable weather, poor visibility, and a vast expanse of open sea, it becomes easy to understand how so many could disappear without a trace. Yet, there's something about the Bermuda Triangle that still resists full explanation. Even with technology, even with satellites and sonar mapping, the disappearances seem to carry an aura of mystery, as if the sea itself guards its secrets. Some scientists have proposed unusual theories. One of the most popular involves methane hydrate eruptions, massive bubbles of gas trapped beneath the ocean floor. When released suddenly, these bubbles can reduce the density of the water, causing ships to lose buoyancy and sink almost instantly. In such an event, the ship would go down without warning, leaving little to no debris. Others have looked to magnetic anomalies, regions where the Earth's magnetic field behaves unpredictably. It is true that parts of the triangle lie near one of the world's few places where true north and magnetic north align, a condition known as magnetic declination zero. Navigators unfamiliar with the effect could easily miscalculate bearings, leading them fatally off course. Still, the legends persist. Many have claimed that the Bermuda Triangle might be connected to something ancient, perhaps even the lost civilization of Atlantis. The idea first emerged in the early 20th century, when explorers like Edgar Cayce suggested that remnants of Atlantis lay beneath the ocean floor in the same region. Later sonar surveys in the 1960s and 70s found unusual structures off the coast of Bimini, known as the Bimini Road, a formation of massive rectangular stones arranged like a pathway under the sea. Were they natural formations, or the remnants of an ancient civilization swallowed by the ocean? The question remains. For believers in the Atlantis theory, the triangle isn't just a place of disappearance, it's a gateway, a region where powerful energies or lost technologies still operate. They suggest that magnetic or crystal power sources from Atlantis could be interfering with modern navigation systems, creating the strange effects observed in the area. Of course, mainstream scientists dismiss these ideas as fantasy. Yet, they admit that our oceans still hold countless mysteries. Even today, more than 80% of the seafloor remains unmapped and unexplored. What might lie hidden beneath the waves, ruins, natural phenomena, or something beyond our comprehension, continues to ignite human imagination. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle has grown far beyond the boundaries of geography. It has become a mirror reflecting our own curiosity, our fears, and our unending desire to understand the unknown. From the days of Columbus to the age of satellites, the triangle has challenged both reason and faith, reminding us that even in the modern world, mysteries still endure. But while the stories of vanished planes and ghost ships capture our attention, the deeper truth may lie in how the legend itself evolved, how human perception, coincidence, and storytelling combined to turn an ordinary part of the ocean into one of the greatest unsolved enigmas of all time. Because when we look closely at the records, at every ship, every aircraft, every supposed disappearance, a different picture begins to emerge. Many of the vessels lost in the Bermuda Triangle were later found to have plausible explanations: storms, equipment failure, navigational error, or simply the chaos of nature. In some cases, ships reported missing were later discovered in ports or recovered intact. But by then, the legend had already taken root, and facts, however clear, could not compete with the allure of mystery. The media, too, played a powerful role. In the mid-20th century, as the public fascination with UFOs, space exploration, and paranormal phenomena exploded, the Bermuda Triangle became a cultural phenomenon. Newspapers and television shows fed the fire, dramatizing every disappearance, amplifying every rumor. The phrase Bermuda Triangle became shorthand for the unexplained, a modern myth that seemed to confirm that the world was still full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. And yet, through it all, One truth remains undeniable. Whether caused by nature, chance, or something far more extraordinary, the Bermuda Triangle continues to claim lives. Ships still vanish. Planes still go down. Not often, and not always mysteriously, but enough to remind us that this part of the ocean still demands respect. Even in our modern age, with GPS, satellite tracking, and powerful communication systems, vessels occasionally go missing without explanation. The ocean, it seems, still has the final word. But perhaps the most haunting aspect of the Bermuda Triangle lies into the mystery of what happens there. It is what it says about us. Why are we drawn to such stories? Why do we cling to the idea of places that defy logic and reason? Maybe it is because they speak to something ancient within us, the same instinct that once made our ancestors fear the edges of their maps, the here-be-dragons of forgotten charts. The Bermuda Triangle reminds us that, despite all our progress, we are still explorers, still seekers of truth in a world that hides more than it reveals. It challenges us to question what we know, and what we think we know. And so, the legend endures. As the sun sets over the endless blue expanse between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, the waves whisper stories of those who never returned. Some say the triangle is cursed. Others say it's simply misunderstood. But all agree on one thing. It is a place where the line between fact and myth, science and legend, reality and imagination, blurs into something truly timeless. Yet even as twilight settles over that expanse of restless blue, the legend refuses to sleep. For each generation that stares into those waters finds new questions rising from beneath the waves. In the quiet decades that followed the great disappearances of the 20th century, scientists, historians, and dreamers alike turned their gaze toward this triangle of fear and fascination. Some came searching for answers, others came searching for meaning. And though their languages differed, mathematics for some, mythology for others, all were speaking, in their own way, to the same enduring mystery. Investigators began to sift through the archives, comparing logbooks, weather charts, and naval records. Patterns emerged: storms, magnetic interference, human error. Yet none were consistent enough to erase the enigma completely. The ocean seemed to play a strange game of balance. Every rational explanation revealed only another layer of uncertainty. Take the disappearance of the Marine Sulphur Queen in 1963, a sturdy tanker, modern for its time, crewed by experienced men. It vanished without warning near the Florida Straits. Search teams found only fragments of life, a few planks, a half-burned life jacket, and then silence. To some, it was proof that the triangle still claimed its toll. To others, evidence of the sea's ruthless indifference. And then there were the pilots who spoke of time itself behaving strangely. Instruments freezing mid-flight, clocks skipping minutes, radio signals bending and echoing back in impossible patterns. One aviator, in 1970, reported flying through a cloud tunnel of green light, emerging hundreds of miles from where he should have been, with fuel barely touched. He survived, but his account added a new layer to the mythology. Perhaps the Bermuda Triangle was not merely swallowing matter, but distorting reality itself. Of course, science offered humbler explanations. Meteorologists pointed to sudden pressure fronts and powerful downdrafts known as microbursts, invisible walls of wind that can drag an aircraft from the sky in seconds. Oceanographers described rogue waves, towering walls of water capable of snapping ships in half. And geologists proposed eruptions of methane hydrate, trapped gas pockets beneath the seafloor that could turn the sea momentarily to foam, robbing ships of buoyancy. Logical, measurable, believable, yet the legend endured. Because legends rarely depend on proof, they live on emotion, on the chill that creeps up the spine when a compass spins or a radio goes silent. The Bermuda Triangle had become more than a coordinate. It was an idea, alive in every story told at sea. In the 1960s and 70s, the myth entered popular culture with unstoppable momentum. Books like Charles Berlitz's The Bermuda Triangle filled shelves worldwide, mixing real events with speculation about UFOs, Atlantis, and interdimensional gateways. Television dramatizations showed ghostly ships adrift under blood-red skies, each retelling blurred fact and fiction a little more until the two became inseparable and irresistible. But amid all the superstition, one truth remained constant. The triangle's geography makes it one of the most volatile places on Earth. Warm currents meet cool air masses, spawning storms that form in minutes. The Gulf Stream, moving faster than any river, twists through the area like a living thing, altering weather and magnetic readings alike. Navigating here is not for the careless. Still, the allure is impossible to resist. Explorers continue to dive beneath its waters, scanning the depths with sonar and submersibles. They find relics, ancient anchors, forgotten wrecks, coral-covered hulls, but never the single discovery that ends the debate. Every new find seems to whisper the same taunt: you've come close, but not close enough. And beneath those whispers lies the oldest rumor of all, the ghost of Atlantis. Off the coast of Bimini, stone blocks lie arranged like a half-buried road. To geologists, they are natural limestone formations. To believers, the paving stones of a drowned empire. If Atlantis did exist, they say, its fall may have unleashed energies that still pulse beneath the sea, currents of force that twist magnetism, bend time, and lure the curious to their doom. Skeptics smile, yet even they admit that Earth's magnetic field does behave strangely here. True north and magnetic north briefly align, confusing older navigational systems. And sonar scans reveal deep undersea ridges that resonate with unexplained signals. Low hums too regular to be coincidence, too irregular to be man-made. Science calls them microseisms. Others call them voices of the deep. Whether born of stone, storm, or story, the triangle's influence reaches far beyond its waters. It has become a metaphor for risk, for curiosity, for the places in life where certainty fails. When a modern ship crosses those coordinates, its crew still feels the weight of history pressing around them. Every beep of radar, every flicker of static, carries an echo of those who vanished before. And perhaps that is the true spell of the Bermuda Triangle. Not that it defies explanation, but that it invites it. It tempts each new generation to try once more to solve it, and in doing so, it keeps us exploring. Today, satellites track every ripple on the Atlantic, yet mysteries remain. Aircraft sometimes vanish for reasons no black box can reveal. Wreckage hides miles below, where light cannot reach. Even with sonar maps and digital charts, recovery teams often return with nothing but questions. Maybe, in time, technology will lift the veil. Maybe drones and deep-sea probes will one day photograph every lost ship, trace every missing flight. But even then, another mystery will rise to take its place, because mystery itself is part of who we are. The Bermuda Triangle endures because humanity needs it. It is the sea-made myth, a reminder that knowledge has borders, and beyond those borders lies wonder. As the centuries turn and the old legends fade into digital archives, the ocean remains, vast, patient, unknowable. And somewhere between Miami, Bermuda, and San Juan, the wind still shifts, the compasses still tremble, and the waves still whisper the same eternal question. What really happens here? Perhaps nothing. Perhaps everything. The truth may rest forever beneath the depths, among coral-covered steel, in the silence of the abyss, guarded by time and pressure. But the legend sails on, carried by each retelling, each cautious glance at the horizon. Because in the end, the Bermuda Triangle isn't just a mystery of the sea. It's a reflection of us, of our hunger to explore, our fear of the unknown, and our refusal to stop searching for meaning in the dark. And so the story continues, wave after wave, year after year, an eternal current flowing through history itself. The Bermuda Triangle, not merely a place on the map, but a reminder that even now, in the age of reason, the world is still wider, deeper, and more mysterious than we dare to imagine.